The sun had barely dragged itself above the rooftops in Paintsville. It was one of those mornings that made you forget the world was gone. Quiet, gold light in the broken glass. Something almost peaceful about the Peking's battered signs swaying in the breeze. Me, Todd, and Amber were outside on dog duty. Old boy was sniffing every weed-cracked sidewalk square, tail up and proud, and Mr. Nibbles was trotting beside him like some kind of squat, bitey raccoon, except with less manners. The beagle and the mystery beast both zeroed in on a half-smashed cardboard box wedged under a toppled trash bin. Before we could stop them, they were tearing into it, foam and scraps flying everywhere. Amber gave a rare smile, squinting at the sunlight. "That thing's got a mean bite," she said, watching Mr. Nibbles try to chew through packing tape like it owed him money. I started to crack a joke, but then inside the sound, a crash, like a chair or a plate hitting the floor, and then yelling. Todd was already halfway to the door before the second shout. "Watch the pets!" He snapped over his shoulder to Amber, and in we went. The air inside the Peking was sharp with spilled soy sauce and broken wood. Ed was groaning, half buried under what used to be a table. His lucky camo hat knocked clean off his head. Josh was on the ground, nose bleeding, and Thomas looked like a storm had finally broken inside him. He was straddling Josh, fist cocked back, eyes wild and empty, swinging again and again with the kind of fury that doesn't care who's watching. Josh was trying to cover up, sputtering, "Thomas, it's me. Stop, stop." Todd didn't even hesitate. Dove in and tackled Thomas off, hard. They crashed to the floor, Todd's forearm snaking around Thomas's neck. Thomas thrashed, spitting curses at ghosts, feet kicking wild until his strength finally ran out and he went limp. The silence was heavy, broken only by Ed's winded wheeze from the floor. Todd panted, sweat streaking the grime on his brow, then rolled Thomas over, working a set of heavy-duty zip ties over his hands and ankles. "He's out," Todd grunted, more to himself than anyone else. Josh staggered up, wiping blood from his mouth. "What the hell, man?" Amber rushed in with the animals, old boy barking, Mr. Nibbles standing guard by the doorway with a mouthful of cardboard. Ed just groaned, patting himself down. "Ain't nothing broke but my pride, I reckon." We propped Thomas up in a booth, wrists and ankles bound, his eyes flickering open, still glassy with that faraway, fractured look. Outside, the world was quiet again, but in here, the storm hadn't really passed. It had just been contained for now. We sat Thomas in the booth, wrists and ankles bound up tight, head drooping like a rag doll. The rest of us circled up in the shattered dining room, the early sunlight cutting through the grime on the windows. Everybody was shaken, but Josh looked about ready to chew nails. He spat blood onto a napkin, glared at the lump that was Thomas, then at the rest of us. "You want to know what happened?" Josh huffed. "I'll tell you what happened. I'm sitting at the table, Ed's over there with his feet up, eating the last of the Slim Jims. Thomas is by the window, staring out, talking to his damn hand again. He needs help now, help now, help now. Like he's got a radio nobody else can hear." He shook his head, voice rising. Next thing I know, Thomas turns around, eyes all bugged out, sprints across the room and body slams Ed clean through the table. Wood went everywhere. Ed's on the ground, Thomas is choking him, and I had to haul him off before he snapped Ed's neck. I'm yelling at Thomas, but he's just lost in it. That's when Todd came running in and tackled him. Todd just grunted, glancing over at Thomas to make sure he was still out cold. Josh added, "And you want to know the best part? I'm trying to make sure Ed's not dead. And the whole time he's still chewing on that Slim Jim. Didn't drop it once. Not even when Thomas had him in a headlock." Ed, sitting on the floor, wiped dust off his camo and shrugged. "What? Wasn't about to let the last Slim Jim in Kentucky go to waste, boys." Amber just shook her head, half a smile on her lips despite everything. El Boy and Mr. Nibbles prowled the corners, sniffing at splinters and crumbs, both animals somehow less dramatic than the humans in the room. For a minute, nobody said anything, just the wind rattling the busted door and Ed, still munching, totally unbothered. We'd all just about settled into that uneasy silence. Ed licking Slim Jim grease off his fingers, Todd keeping an eye on Thomas, Amber sweeping up splinters, and Josh icing his jaw when Ed, out of nowhere, clears his throat. "Y'all ever think we oughta, I dunno, take a look at Thomas's hand?" Ed says, real serious, like he's proposing the Manhattan Project. He keeps talking to it. I mean, what if, hear me out, what if he's got an ear growing there? Like a science show. Seen a thing on the History Channel once. Man grew an ear on his back. Maybe he's listening to voices through his hand. I about spit my coffee. Amber gives him a look like she's trying to decide if she should laugh or leave, and even OL Boy pauses mid-sniff. Todd rubs his forehead. "Ed, nobody's got an ear on their hand." But Ed's insistent. "No, I'm serious. Look," he keeps whispering to it, "and you know what they say about the apocalypse. Anything's possible. If he did grow one, I want to see it before it gets all infected." Josh shakes his head, but after the morning we've had, nobody's got a better idea. Todd shrugs and kneels beside Thomas, who's just starting to groan awake. "All right, Thomas," Todd says gently, "let's see what's under here." He peels back the duct tape and filthy bandages on Thomas's mangled hand, expecting nothing but ugly wounds. Instead, embedded between the half-healed scars and broken knuckles, there's a mess of twisted wire, an actual tiny microphone, black as a beetle, with a cable running under the bandages. For a second, nobody breathes. "What the?" DJ Red mutters. Amber leans in, voice barely above a whisper. "He's been wearing a wire?" Ed's jaw drops. Son of a gun. All this time, he's been talking into a walkie-talkie hand. That's gotta be the craziest thing I ever saw. Thomas blinks, eyes clearing for a second, and looks right at us. "They're always listening," he mumbles, almost lucid for a moment. "Always. Had to stay ahead. Had to play the game." Then he starts laughing, a broken, wild sound, halfway between genius and total madness. The group stares, caught between fear and awe, the little mic gleaming in the morning sun. Nobody has the faintest idea who's been on the other end. With everyone still gawking at the wire in Thomas's hand, Todd just shakes his head, grabs a pair of kitchen shears from behind the bar, and snips the line. Thomas goes wild for a second, thrashing and screaming, but between Todd and Josh, they haul him off and lock him in the old walk-in cooler. Dead compressor, moldy tiles, and not a breath of cold air left. Amber double-checks the latch, Old Boy sits sentry, and Mr. Nibbles paces by the door, sniffing at the seams like he expects a snack to fall out. Me and Todd stand there, catching our breath, just trying to figure out if things can get any weirder. When suddenly, outside, there's the roar of a big block engine, followed by a string of staccato backfires. Everyone tenses. Then we spot it. A battered, bullet-riddled El Camino pulls up in front of the Peking, the engine coughing and spitting. The driver jumps out. A mountain of a man in a blood-stained lab coat and science goggles, sleeves rolled up over arms bigger than my thighs. He bangs on the door with a gloved fist. "Ed, open up. It's me, the chemist, from the CB." His voice booms like a pro wrestler in a hurricane. Todd and Amber just stare. DJ Red blinks twice. Josh actually laughs out loud. Even I'm a little taken aback. But not Ed. Ed leaps up, waving both hands. "Told y'all, that's my buddy. Knew he'd find us." Todd shakes his head. "You know him?" Ed grins. "Hell yeah, met him on the airwaves. Guy knows everything about everything, chemicals, engines, making liquor out of cough syrup. He's a genius." The chemist ducks through the door, glass crunching under his boots. "You said you needed information. Well, I got it, and you're not gonna like it." Before anybody can react, Ed pipes up again, with that same wild, hopeful look he always gets when he's telling a tall tale. "By the way, just so y'all know, my Russian bride should be here any minute. Name's Svetlana. Met her on Facebook right before the world ended. Paid $700 for her first-class ticket to Kentucky. Sent the money myself. Western Union. She says she loves fishing, strong men, and long walks through ruined towns. She's probably at the airport right now." The chemist stares at Ed, then at us. Josh just groans. Ed, you got catfished, man. $700 for a plane ticket? In this economy? Everyone bursts out laughing, even Amber, who wipes away tears. DJ Red shakes his head, grinning. Ed, you're either the luckiest or the dumbest man left alive. Maybe both. Ed beams. That's what my mama always said. Outside, the sun creeps a little higher. For one wild minute, the laughter almost drowns out the world falling apart. Once the laughter dies down, the chemist wipes his goggles on his sleeve, and you can see he's serious as a heart attack. He glances at Thomas locked in the walk-in, then at the wire sitting coiled on the table. You wanted to know who Thomas was talking to on that hand radio? He says, voice low. I know, and you're not gonna like it. We all lean in. Even Ed stops smiling. That wire was hooked straight into a network run by a group calling themselves the People's Militia. The chemist says, practically spitting the words. Bunch of psychos with guns and too much free time. They look like a National Guard unit, but all they really are is raiders in camo looting, extorting, killing anyone that don't go along. Ed's face goes pale. Wait, those the same fellas who ran me out of Dollar General? I thought they just wanted my snack cakes. The chemist nods grimly. Them, all right. I used to be one of them back before things got real ugly. I ran hooch for him, sold stolen pills and antibiotics. Figured it was just survival, until I found out it was them who killed Mayor Dunlop right in front of his own kids 3 days before the apocalypse started. That's when I left. Didn't look back. Todd curses under his breath, fists clenching tight. Amber looks at the door to the walk-in, like she's expecting it to bust open any second. Josh shakes his head, stunned. So they were listening in? Using Thomas to find us? The chemist nods again. That's exactly what they do. Thomas might be crazy, but he's not wrong. He's been playing their game. But if you cut that wire, and if they don't hear back soon, they'll start looking. Ed mutters, guess it's a good thing we locked him in the freezer, huh? DJ Red just stares out the window at the empty street, heart pounding. Suddenly, the Peking doesn't feel safe at all. The chemist doesn't waste time sugarcoating. He leans in, tone urgent. If I could track your signal, the People's Militia aren't far behind. Those bastards have radios, spotters, maybe even a drone. If you want to keep breathing, you need to clear out now. You could feel the mood shift like a cold wind. Todd's already strapping on his vest. Amber's stuffing food and water into her battered backpack. Nick's checking his pistol magazine, eyes flicking from door to window. Even Ed seems rattled, hurrying to gather up his radio and the last half bag of peanuts. I toss my satchel over my shoulder, glancing at the walk-in where Thomas is locked away. What about him? Asked. We take him, Todd says flatly, not pausing for debate. We're not leaving anybody, crazy or not. The chemist nods, but his eyes never leave the window. And that's when we hear it, engines. Multiple engines. The low, growling rumble of big off-road tires on cracked asphalt. 4 of them at least. I peek through the dirty slats of the blinds and my gut goes cold. For battered Toyota Tacomas, spray-painted tan and green. Roll slow around the parking lot, bristling with makeshift armor, flags, and men in mismatched camo hanging out the beds with rifles. Showtime, Amber whispers, already loading a magazine. Josh checks the back door, voice tight. They're surrounding us. Old boy and Mr. Nibbles hunker low, hackles up, noses twitching with the scent of strangers. Ed, for once, doesn't say a word, just clutches his CB and mutters a nervous prayer to St. Dollar Tree. The chemist calmly draws a chunky revolver from his lab coat. Hope you folks can shoot straight. If not, run fast. I look at Todd, who just nods once. Nobody needs to say it. This is our last chance to get out alive or go down fighting.